Anniversary of the first flight across the English Channel. One man celebrating is David Cook from Aldringham in Suffolk. In 1978 he entered the record books himself when he flew the same famous route as Louis Blériot. The only difference, he did it in a hang glider powered only by a go-kart engine. Martin Stew has more.
These days we think nothing of jumping on a plane and flying off on our holidays. But 100 years ago, when Louis Blériot became the first man to fly across the English Channel, it was big news. A daring flight that made aviation history and made the Frenchman famous overnight. Nearly 70 years later, the same journey was made by a man from Suffolk. David Cook spent his working life making and selling small aeroplanes. But back in the 70s, he was also a bit of a daredevil. The twist is that he made Blériot's journey in a homemade hang glider powered by a tiny 9-horsepower engine, only a third as powerful as the Frenchman's.
It was dodgy because the furthest flight I'd ever done in this thing was 8 miles, and then it had conked out, so off we went. You have to write yourself off before you go.
Much to the dismay of his long-suffering wife, in 1978 David set off from Kent on his record-breaking trip.
Well, I thought I was going to die because I can't swim, and here I am going to fly across 27 miles of open sea, and the boat that was going to chase me, well, that conked out twice going across, and I had to circle round and round, and there was very little fuel. We could only just get there because, remember, I had to lift this thing up and run with it, and you can't have gallons and gallons of fuel on. So I had just enough fuel, and I actually got there with about a thimbleful left.
The flight took 1 hour and 3 minutes.
When I actually got to France, I was so relieved that the engine had kept going for the limited fuel I had that there was a German chap walked past, and he said, "And where have you come from?" And I said, "From England." He said, "All the English are crazy."
Crazy or inspirational, David believes we should celebrate the triumphs of pioneers like Blériot.
I mean, those days were the birth of aviation. It doesn't sound much nowadays to fly 25 miles across the English Channel because everyone flies, but I mean, these things made aeroplanes what they are today.
Now a grandfather and nearly 70, David still has the same spirit of adventure.
A zip wire is coming. You see that large fir tree over there? We're going to put the zip wire fairly high up, and it's going to go all the way across the garden, 70 metres. We should get quite a speed up, and put it up on the tree. And although I've told my wife that she's the first one to try it, I think I should probably be the first one to have a go at it. We must keep adventurous, mustn't we?
Yes, but there's adventure, and then there's David. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Aldringham in Suffolk.
Good for him. Sport now and